There we are. All right, now we're recording, and I haven't even watched my own recordings. I've watched bits and pieces of them, but I haven't watched the whole thing, any of them all the way through. There are a few people watching them though, so I don't know who the hell would be interested enough to listen to me drone on for 2 hours. But
I did accidentally hit it once when I was trying to find last week.
All right, well, hopefully it helped you get to sleep.
No, I've listened to bits and pieces. I haven't watched one all the way through yet.
All right, so let's jump on board the Aetherscape here. We are starting our third session. You should be a novice level 2 now, and if you're not, then what's your problem? Get up to novice level 2 with everybody else. Come on. And let me do a quick recap of what happened last week for those of you who weren't with us. And the story so far, as it says on our splash page there, having escaped from the clutches of the harvester known as the Surgeon, the group must now survive the wilds of Tartarus. Blue is certain that there is an ether ship somewhere out there that they can use to escape the moon. So they head off into the desolate landscape, hoping to find clues. One of them had heard about some people. I guess I should put about in there. Some people that lived in the Violet Hills, and so they begin walking in that direction, trying to avoid the storms in the distance and the gigantic Tartarus worms. The group stumbles upon a group of ex-prisoners, now undead corpses, among a tar pit field, and avoid the pits while killing the corpses again. They take shelter for the night, and the following day they come across a group of creatures that communicate through images of their thoughts that display upon their bellies. These tubbies, quote unquote, were friendly and offered the group shelter in their home in the hills. The group is pursued and found by the Surgeon's creation, the Manipede, which attacks the next day. The group managed to kill the abomination and then planned to travel to where the Tubbies say a fallen ship lay buried within the sands of Tartarus. So that is where we left off last time. Any questions before we start the game tonight?
None whatsoever.
All right, so you had killed, I think it was morning when the Manipede attacked. So you killed it only to find that it had killed the beast that drove the Teletubbies cart. So the cart is okay, but the beast is dead. And so the Tubbies immediately, once they're finished groveling, because they were groveling pretty much the entire time the Manipede was attacking, the 3 NPCs that followed you were also groveling. And so once the monster is dead, they all come out of hiding, and the 4 Tubbies go immediately start carving up the beast and putting its meat and various parts into containers. And you're kind of standing around wondering what the hell they're doing. They spend about half an hour, maybe an hour, going through this gruesome task, which they seem quite adept at. It's almost a little scary that they are so skilled at cutting up creatures. But they pack away all the meat, and they leave very little behind. And then they come up to Blue and whoever is with you. Blue, of course, is probably the most anxious to get going.
Definitely.
And so the lead Tubby, who we will say is Ho, the red one. That's the one that's been coming on to you and trying to elicit some backroom companionship. But Ho has given up on that and has instead become the spokesperson for the Tubbies, and he basically displays the image of the ship and then it kind of rewinds a little bit, and it shows you guys traveling through the hills, an image of you all traveling through the hills, and somewhere between your current location and where the ship is supposed to be buried, there is what appears to be a town of some sort. And so the Tubbies indicate that they are going to hit that on the way to the ship, because it's directly en route to where they are leading you. The town that they show you is very small. It looks like a bunch of ramshackle buildings thrown together, but it looks like potentially someplace that you might be able to pick up some equipment.
What do you mean when you say hit? Just stop at the town and supply, or are they like gonna raid it?
No. The Tubbies images on their bellies show that they are taking the meat that they just carved off of their beast, and they plan on taking it to this town to trade for other goods.
Okay.
Sounds good. So do we think we'll get some of the credit for this meat on trade since we did the killing?
Well, potentially. Do you ask that question to Ho?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Actually, I phrase it not as much as a question, but so what is our cut for doing all the work?
And Ho gets your meaning well enough, and he immediately turns to the other three. You don't see the image that appears on his belly, but the other three, the looks on their faces make it seem like it wasn't a very good image. And so they immediately split the containers that they have the remains of the beast in half. They keep half of it, and then they gladly place the other half at your feet.
Sounds fair enough to me. You guys agree?
Sounds reasonable.
Personally, I would.
They literally stood around and.
Personally, I would let
just stood
them
around
sell it and just make even a smaller portion, because they'll probably get a better price.
Possibly. But I think they're going to be trading it, and I don't know if they'll be trading it for things we'll need. This doesn't look like an area full of gold coins.
I want all the blood containers.
Yeah, the only gold you've come across so far is what you found in the belongings that you got out of the prison. All right, so you spend a little time that morning just kind of gathering your things and preparing for the journey. And the Tubbies basically load all their crap that they plan on trading onto the cart. A couple of them grab onto the hitches and start heading off down the hill. And they just kind of wave you along. So do you choose to follow them at this point?
Oh, I'm following. Why not?
All right. So it's about half a day journey through the hills. You go up and down several hills on the way. The weather today is fairly overcast, and the temperature has dropped significantly from what it was the last couple of days you've been traveling. It was kind of in the 70s, and when the sun peeked through the clouds, it kind of shot up into the 80s, more or less. But today, with it being mostly overcast, it is probably more like in the 60s. It's quite chilly to the skin, to the exposed skin. So if you don't have sufficient skin covering with your clothing, then you do get a little nipple hardening happening. So the actual wind you notice in the hills is not as abrasive, and it's not as cutting as it was on the plains. It's still noticeable. Apparently, high winds is just a constant feature of the moon, but at least in the hills tend to block a significant percentage of the wind, so it's not as annoying. And you guys take about half a day to travel to the place that the Tubbies had shown you. And as you come over the rise, and you notice that this town is situated, this quote-unquote town is situated in a valley, kind of in the center of a bunch of hills surrounding it. So the wind is even less of a factor as you start going down the hill into this valley. You can see that there are not that many buildings. It's a very small settlement, but it seems to be bustling with a number of creatures milling about. And as you get closer, you can see that a good number of those creatures are more tubby creatures. And they seem to all be the same coloring. Apparently there are 4 colors in Tubby Land. There's red, green, purple, and kind of a diarrhea yellowish brown. And so you see various other tubbies milling about, but then you also notice, as you get closer and actually enter the town, you notice that there are other races as well. You spot some creatures you have really never seen before. They look completely alien to you. And as you're walking around, you are just kind of struck by the fact that there are these alien creatures here, and they are, basically just selling different items that are set up on carts and set up in some of these buildings. And the tubbies stop you kind of as you get into the central part of the town, and they start showing you some images on their bellies that they're going to go off in this direction and try to sell or try to trade some of their goods. And they suggest that you try to pick up more, and they their images on their belly show, flash more of your weapons that you are carrying, and some more clothing and stuff like that you might want to pick up. So you are in TUBBYTOWN. What would you like to do?
Well, don't everybody jump at once. I'm going to go, and I'm actually looking more for somebody who would sell scrolls or incantations, potions, things to that effect, more so than weapons and clothing.
Okay.
So possibly an alchemist or a somebody selling antiques, that weird shit like that.
Sure.
I'm with them.
What else are you guys looking for?
Looking for some new clothes.
Yeah.
Or at least some cloth where I can make my own.
And does it look like are they exchanging money?
No, actually, as you look around, it seems to be that it looks like everybody is trading goods.
Barter system.
Terrible. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to look for dolls where the clothing looks like I could be something I could wear.
Okay, and just incidentally, let's back up a little bit. Vorvon and Greenglow, you guys weren't here last session. I'm not real particular as far as explaining your absence and your sudden appearance in the group. As far as I'm concerned, any week that any of you don't show up, you just kind of disappear into a pocket dimension, and everybody forgets that you exist. And then the following week, if you show up, then you reappear, and then all of a sudden everybody remembers that you are in existence again. So it's just easier for me to run games that way than to try to explain, where the vampire and the pixie were. And ultimately, I don't think anybody really cares. So
yeah,
we were doing something important.
We were off screen.
But having said that,
you guys who weren't here, you have to roll for an interesting thing.
Yeah, there are some interesting things that have not been picked yet.
If I can find Just some place where there's not people around. I like to use the paw and turn into maybe a less disgusting human that still kind of looks the same.
Okay. There
Just
are
me, but
some,
fresher.
Okay, there are some trees that you can go hide behind and and do your thing.
Okay. I have to go use the restroom.
Okay, so an alchemist and some clothes. Are there any other things that you guys are interested in looking for?
Like maps, I guess. Maps of the area.
Sorry, John, what'd you say?
Maps.
Maps?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so you guys start looking around, and let me kind of give you a visual of where you're at. And this is TUBBYTOWN. And as you can see, it's not a very big place, only about a dozen buildings. But there are various carts and various places set up. You can kind of tell that seems like most of the people that have goods to barter appear to be scavengers. A lot of the stuff that are on their carts is very mixed goods. So it looks like they find some stuff out in the desert. They dig up a caravan that may have met a bad end, and take that stuff to market here. A lot of the stuff here looks very, very used, but some of it still looks like stuff that you could use. There are also a couple of carts that are being drawn by some of those beasts, and you can see the tubbies that came with you are bartering with one of the guys that has these beast-drawn carts, looking to replace the beast that they had lost. So that's what they're doing. Blue, you kind of wander around and you make your way around to the back of the town, and you look in one of the buildings and you see the telltale signs of somebody that has lots of beakers and lots of jars full of powders and the signs of an alchemist. So when you enter the shop, you see this individual, and he appears to be mixing some things in a container. He hears you enter, and he turns and says, a customer, what can I do for you, my fine? Oh, and what manner of creature are you?
I am Naga.
A Naga? I've heard of your kind, never actually met one. It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance. You may call me Balroth.
All right, Balroth. He's a tubby?
No, he is actually a humanoid creature. He is... Zoom in here and see what I picked for this guy. He is actually, he looks human.
All right.
And what can I do for you, my friend Naga?
I'm looking to make some trade. I show him one of the buckets of meat, and fresh, just chopped this morning. And we are looking for anything that would be helpful for me and a few companions who are traveling the wastes in search of my lost ship.
Well,
anything you might have, any potions to help us with the any damage we might take, or anything to do with the extreme heat and cold, anything to those effects.
Certainly, my good man. Certainly, or my good Naga. I'm sorry. No, do not mean to offend. But
no, none taken.
I am certain that I can meet your needs. Let us see what we have here to offer you. And he starts going through his supply of ready-made potions and various alchemy items. And he says, of course, you appear to be the type of creature that can defend himself, but surely you have some need of, let's say, some healing treatment.
Would definitely be beneficial, I believe.
Well, I have just what you need right here, my good friend, and that is a supply of healing potions. I have 6 that are ready to be purchased. If you would like to trade, say, a quarter of your meat for them.
I was really thinking closer to a 1/6.
A 1/6? Oh my goodness. That would barely feed my child, let alone my entire family.
Oh,
How about this? I shall give you all 6 of those for a mere 1/5 of your meat.
I look. Did anybody else come in with me? Side note, or am I by myself?
I was going to, but I'm okay with wandering elsewhere.
All right.
Yeah, I think you're by yourself.
I'm not hearing anybody else at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at dresses, so you're by yourself.
All right, no problem. All right, I look and say, okay, I'll tell you what, as long as we don't tell my companions I went so high for this, we've got a deal. And I reach out my one hand to shake his.
Excellent. And he reaches out his hand, and you can see when he does so that he's missing several fingers off of his hand, and he actually has kind of a prosthetic that he has attached to his hand. As you notice that, you kind of look him over again, and you see that he's got various scars on him. And you also notice now that he is kind of walking funny. And now that you note that, you see that he actually isn't standing on 2 legs. He's standing on 1 leg and what appears to be a peg leg.
How much for the peg leg?
My leg?
Just the peg one, not the good one. One of my companions lost part of his leg recently, and he's not as well. He hasn't taken it as well as you have, obviously.
Well, my good friend, this is merely a piece of wood that I fashioned myself and attached to my leg. I am working up towards a proper prosthesis. If I can find a craftsman good enough to fashion me one and I can afford, I will gladly.
Do you have any other prototypes or anything?
Well, I will gladly provide you my leg if you would kindly share yet another portion of your meat.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that's a valuable trade. My companion will enjoy your leg.
Excellent. All right, he unstraps his leg and he reaches over and grabs a crutch off the wall and he starts hobbling around on that.
All right, I take it and kind of slide it into my little hip pack and make a note and reach out, shake his hand again with just this big smile because I think I've just done the greatest thing getting my friend a peg leg. So.
All right, he thanks you for your business and he says you're welcome back at any time. He cautions you, however, if you are heading beyond the hills, to beware of those foul creatures known as the harvesters. They are known to hunt tubbies in this region, and so they are occasionally found wandering these hills, and they can be quite the nuisance.
I lean in and say, "Have you heard of one named the Surgeon?" And I back up a little bit and
He says, "My goodness, yes. That creature is legendary in these parts. He has been the downfall of many a tubby, and he's also collected quite an array of creatures, I've heard. It is known that his dungeons are impenetrable and none escape from it. If they do, he has this creature that is multi-legged and quite grotesque. That
he does. He used to have such a creature, and it used to be impenetrable.
Then it got
on a good authority that there has been a recent escape.
Are you trying to tell me, sir, that you have escaped from the surgeon's infamous prison.
I turn my shoulder so that he can see my stub, which has a manacle over the stub and the long chain kind of hanging down from it that drags behind me. And, well, I brought this with me on my way out.
He says, "My goodness, so it appears. You, my friend, have accomplished what many say is the impossible. You would be considered a hero in TUBBYTOWN. If I were you, I would spread the word of your deed. You would make many a friend here if it were widely known that the surgeon is no longer a threat to these kind people."
We're not looking for, anything out, any recognition or anything. Just if you can keep it on the down low, and just if it comes up in conversation, maybe you'll slowly let it leak into town once we're gone.
As you
I'm
wish,
not
my friend,
a big
but
attention seeker.
as you wish, my friend. But if you would do me a kind favor, and he looks around and he shuffles through some stuff, and he grabs a pen and some ink, and he dips it in there. And he says, "Would you mind signing my arm?"
Well, I'm happy to do so. And I reach up and grab the pen with my hand that I've never written with because I lost to the other arm. And I make some kind of scribble of a B and an X and hand him back his pen.
All right. He seems giddy with that, and he actually hands you another potion that he pulls out from under his bar or under his table, and he says, "I will give this to you, my friend. It is a bit of a potion that I've been working with for a time now, and I've been looking for somebody worthy of selling it to. But what I would like to provide you is this vial of antitoxin, if you would have it."
I will definitely put it to good use and appreciate your generosity.
No, the honor is all
The name of
mine.
Balroth will be sung high by us while we are on the plains.
Oh, my friend, I thank you so much for your patronage today. If you ever have need of my services, you know where to find me. Again, call me Balroth the Alchemist, and spread my name far and wide.
I will do just that.
Thank you, sir.
And I take my leave.
All right. Steve, Marinora is kind of walking around, and she notices a cart that is full of all kinds of clothing and or cloth of various types, various colors and various fabrics. Right next to the cart is a creature that you have you've never seen before. It looks like it's reptilian, and it is bipedal, but it's got big bulbous eyes, and it's got some bony protrusions coming out of its head. It's also got some little feelers that come out from under its nose and cover up its mouth, and it seems to be going through the various fabrics and articles of clothing in its cart.
All right. Since I know I have nothing to barter with, I'm just kind of window shopping at the moment.
Okay. And the creature sees you, and it says something to you in a language that you're not familiar with. And when it does, when it speaks, the feelers that are above its mouth, kind of like a weird tentacle mustache, they kind of go up like they kind of start wiggling around like this while it's talking, and then they rest back down over its mouth. You have no idea what the hell it's saying, though. It sounds like some weird language that you are totally unfamiliar with.
I just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, and it starts rifling through its stuff. and it pulls out this tunic, and it pulls it up to you, and it's like a purple, shimmering cloth, and it holds it up to you, and it starts talking in with its feelers kind of going like that. Clearly, it's trying to sell this to you. And it's pointing at your weapon on your side.
Which one?
Whichever weapon you carry on your right hip.
That would be. Let's see. That would be the small sword.
Yeah, so it's holding this up, and it's talking and saying something that you don't understand, but clearly it's trying to get you to take the shirt in exchange for that weapon.
I shake my head no.
It pulls out, as you start shaking your head, it pulls out a couple more articles and a bolt of cloth, and it shoves them over in your direction and points to your weapon again. And it points to all these items.
I pretend like I'm still thinking it over, not as impressed, but a little bit more willing.
Okay. And it will start shuffling through its stuff, and it pulls out a pair of boots and puts it up to your feet. They look like they're too big. Throws it back in the cart, shuffles around, digs out another pair. These appear to be some shoes. They're actually mismatched, but they're close enough to your foot size. Throws it on the pile and starts pointing at that and your weapon.
Okay, I nod my head in agreement.
All right. And it seems to be all kinds of thrilled at the exchange. Shoves all of this stuff in your direction and kind of holds its hand out ready for your end of the bargain.
I undo the small sword hilt and I hand it over.
All right. It takes it and it sniffs it, and its feelers start kind of going along its blade. And you can see this weird forked tongue kind of come out and start going up and down the blade, and it throws it in the cart and just seems to forget that you even exist at that point. So here's what you got.
I take my stuff.
You got you've got a
might have to write it all down.
Yeah, you've got a bolt of cloth, and when you unroll it, it seems to have about 5 yards worth of material. You've got 3 shirts, 2 pair of pants, and a pair of mismatched shoes.
Shirts.
Okay, and who else said? John, you said Vorvan was looking for some maps.
Yep.
All right, you're kind of wandering the whole area looking for anybody that has anything.
Now that original dress was there too, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you're wandering the whole area looking for somebody that has anything that looks like maps or scrolls or whatnot, and you come upon a guy that is talking to 2 other creatures, and he has a cart. This guy has what appears to be a top hat. His face is very alien. He's got purple, scaly skin. Also has a variety of tentacles, but on its face, but they're all hanging way down past his abdomen. And he seems to be talking to a green, multi-legged creature with a big head, and then another humanoid creature. And they seem to be in a lively discussion. But on the cart, you can see that this creature has a number of mismatched items, including what appear to be either scroll cases or map cases. but clearly something that holds some type of paper or parchment, something that you might be interested in. Incidentally, it is daytime, so how are you protecting yourself from the harshness of the sun?
We need a cloak or blanket of some kind.
Okay, I'm going to assume that you had picked up something like that out of the out of the surgeon's vault.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably not in the best condition. Probably smells like piss and shit, and is probably very stained. So you might want to consider a replacement at some point.
Maybe a little holy.
Mm-hmm. And I also have to wrap my hands and stuff, so I'd have to, like, I'd almost look like a weird makeshift mummy in a way.
A leper.
A leper.
Or a leper. That'd be very true.
All right, so
So I'll try to speak in common to the thing and go, maps. Do you have maps here? And I'll point at those.
okay. And as you start talking to the purple guy, the other two that are engaged in a conversation with him kind of turn and give you this hateful glare, like you're being extremely rude and interrupting their conversation. But then the purple creature just kind of makes this motion with his hand, and the two that were talking to it just kind of storm off in a huff, and they disappear into the crowd. Then the purple creature with the top hat comes up to you and starts gesturing, and then as it's gesturing to you, you hear not so much through your ears, but you hear in your head the creature speaking to you directly, telepathically, and it says, "I sense that you have an interest in maps."
Yes. I'll say aloud or think it, whatever's better for him.
He says, and I also sense that you've been through some hardship.
I'll nod.
Is he just talking really loudly to himself?
That's probably what it looks like.
Okay, just...
Yeah, this guy, the tentacle creature thing is just kind of making these hand gestures, and its tentacles are kind of flopping on while it's talking, or while it's making these gestures, but you hear no sound coming from it whatsoever. And so the Vorvon clearly hears the voice in his head, and the creature says, "My name is Kataka, and I am a finder of goods needed by all. I think I have something that may interest you, my friend." And he starts digging through his wagon, both with his hands and with his tentacles. You see his tentacles kind of lifting shit, moving it to the side as well as his hands. And then it reaches deep into its cart, and he pulls out this long tube. And the tube is interesting because it's got markings all over it, and it seems to have a lot of symbols on it that look like stars and moons and spheres and stuff like that. It's a very stylistic tube, and it's about 3 feet long. It's got a cap on the end of it, and it looks like it's been through some rough times. It's got some scorching on it. It's it's dented in one area, but for the most part, it looks like it's in fairly good shape. And he kind of shakes it, and in your head, you hear him say, "This contains a map, and not just any map, but a map of the heavens above." And he makes this grand gesture, like, all of the heavens above. And he says, "What have you to trade me for?"
I'm afraid I don't have many possessions. I mean, do we still have that meat stuff?
Blue does.
Oh, he does? I would want all the jars of blood for myself. So I would show him a jar of blood.
You show him a jar of blood, okay. He takes a look at it. He kind of leans in to get a close look at it. and one of his tentacles kind of reaches out and kind of does a feel on the jar. And maybe there's a little bit of dried blood on the outside and scrapes it off, and the tentacle reaches under and he kind of licks it. And he's like, "Sold, my friend. Here you go."
No, really? Okay.
You hand him the jar.
Good job.
I do.
All right. He snatches the jar and he closes up his cart and he wheels it into the building behind him. He shuts the doors, and you hear some slurping sounds coming from inside.
All right. Well, he's a.
All right, and the rest of you, as you're kind of walking around town, kind of taking in the sights, seeing what's going on, you suddenly hear a commotion coming from the northern part of town, northern being the top of the screen. And when you look in that direction, you see some of the tubbies, not your tubbies, but some of the tubbies in this town, running as fast as they can away from that section of the town. And as you get to where you can see what they're running from, and some of you might be in a position to see, some of you might have to maneuver a little bit, but all of you hear, before you see, the sounds of some type of vehicle entering town. It's very loud, and it's making a lot of clanking metallic sounds, as if on the rough road, as if the majority of it is made of metal. And indeed, when you actually see the conveyance, it is in fact a metal wagon that seems to be drawn by a number of reptilian creatures. When you get a fairly good look at it, it looks like a cage wagon. So basically the whole wagon is just this big cage, a big metal cage. And it is it's drawn by these reptilian creatures that are a little bit larger than man size. So basically it's about they're about 5'8" or so. They're kind of hunched over a little bit though, so if they stood up straight they might be even taller. But they're pulling this thing on their back two legs, and they have the smaller forelegs, and you can see that their maws are filled with these razor sharp teeth, and their heads are kind of bobbing as they are pulling this big wagon in town, and they stop right on the edge of the TUBBYTOWN, and a couple of humanoid creatures jump off the wagon and start walking towards the center of town where you and everybody else is. You can see just from wherever you are, you notice immediately one of them is a hooded dwarf-like creature, the type of which you have seen many times in the surgeon's dungeons. And the other creature is also a cloaked creature, but as it enters the town square where you guys are, it draws back its hood, and you can see that it has many scars, many different patches of different colored skin that appear to be stitched together, different lengths of limbs, and it's kind of walking in a very strange gait. What you have here in front of you is a hood and a harvester, and they're looking around like it is time to start collecting specimens for their wagon. What do you do in reaction to this appearance?
And all of us can see it coming? Or all of us see it?
You can all get to where you can see it. If you don't see it, you hear it, and you definitely hear the sounds of the tubbies in town just going apeshit crazy, trying to get away from it.
I'm going to cast Charm. One creature within short range that can hear you. I'll fly up, and I'm depending on the time of day, I shouldn't be visible unless the guy.
Sorry, man, you cut out. What'd you say again?
Is it the time of the day that I'm visible, or is he insane, or?
It is midday.
Okay. Like midday.
As far as you can tell, in Tartarus time. Oh, and this is probably something you should know. The rest of them heard last time, but the Tartarus day is shorter than an Earth day.
Oh, that's good. How many hours?
It's roughly 18 hours.
Okay, so I only have to worry about 45 minutes. But is this like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, noon?
It is the equivalent of about noon on Earth or whatever planet you're from.
Okay. Okay, so I'm visible. Well, if I can sneak up from an angle, I'm going to cast a spell on him.
All right, so you guys are caught in this flurry of activity with all of these tubbies just running crazy, trying to get away from this thing. You see the harvester pull something out from under its cloak and straighten his arm out like this with a crack, and this telescoping pole shoots out from his hand, and you can see this crackling on the end of it. And in his other hand, he has this whip, and you can see that he says something to the hood, and the hood starts going off into the town in the direction of some tubbies. So if you're going to launch an attack on this thing, it is ready for anything basically. So let's roll some initiative.
I have no idea where my character is.
Who, Vorvan?
Oh, is that where I was? Was that the fountain?
That's Green Glow.
You are...
So how do I do initiative? Oh, there it is.
Right there. All right.
Yeah, I can't see people's names. I can see my name, but I can't see other players.
Yeah, it's set up that way.
So if I attack and hit people, it's okay? It's cool. You're not going to blame me?
I'm blaming you anyway.
Yeah.
I am a leper. You wouldn't hurt a leper, would you?
Yes, I would.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I would.
With extreme
I'm borderline
prejudice.
insane. I'm willing to attack anything.
Okay, let's get... There we go. All right, we are in the first round of this encounter, and it looks like we only have one person going fast, and that would be Green Glow. So what is our resident pixie going to do?
I am going to attempt to cast Charm on the main guy.
All right, let's see it happen.
Okay. I should have a boon open, but she does show the boon built in. Okay. So 15 versus 12.
All right, and let me just check it, make sure it's not immune to anything that I need to be aware of.
Like Charm?
And, all right. Okay, so it needs to make you make an attack roll against its will. And your attack roll is 15.
Yep.
And that hits its will.
Nice work.
Okay,
You
so
guys are buddies.
it's now friendly to us for an hour.
Well, I think he might be friendly to you.
Well, he's friendly to you. He may not give a shit about us.
Yeah, he's friendly to you. So maybe you can convince him, be cool.
You're just like, hey, George.
You wouldn't do that to your friends, would you? Well, you'll have to convince him.
Well, you're going to have to get closer if you want to chat with him. But right now, you kind of cast your fairy magic on him, and he's kind of looking around at who he's wanting to catch, what tubbies he's wanting to catch, and he kind of locks eyes with you for a second, and this big, wide, toothy smile appears on his face, and he goes, "Hey, all right, Pixie." And then he just kind of goes back to work.
I do have one question, though.
Yeah.
You said that I had to get closer to talk to him, but he can hear me, right? Or can he not?
Well, maybe not. I mean, there's a lot of tubbies screaming like crazy.
Part of the spell is if he can hear me or not. And I thought I was finished.
Oh, so it is. Okay. Well, let's say, let's say for purposes of this spell, there's a lull in the in the screaming, and you manage to cast it as that happens. So you manage to charm him, but if you want to talk to him, you're probably going to have to get up in his face.
Well, we still have the 5-foot step rule, right?
Yep, triggered action for 5 feet. Yep.
And that's 1 square?
Yeah.
Got it.
Square.
So I'll go on ahead and do that so he can hear me before the spell. And then I will tell him, hey, this isn't the best place right now to dealing with this stuff. If you can come back later, that would be great.
Okay, and I'm assuming you're kind of flitting around as pixies do. And he hears your squeaking, and he looks at you and he says, you're cute and all, but I have work here to do. Why don't you go play with some fairies off in the hills somewhere? And he starts looking around at some tubbies to attack. All right, you got anything else?
No, I mean.
All right. That was green glow, yes. Okay, that was the only fast, so everybody else is on slow. Who would like to be the first? All right, Zatada, you're it.
Going to... Have any of the carts been moved or any of the big creatures?
The things that are
large
pulling the cart?
creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Have they noticed or started carrying?
You're talking about the things that pulled the harvester's cart, right?
No, I'm the ones pulling the Teletubby carts.
Oh yeah, they're big. They're big, bulky, basically alien oxen.
But are they panicking as well, or are they just...
No, they're not panicking. They're just kind of standing around chewing on whatever vegetation they can manage to find in the ground.
I'm going to move behind the crates, and in the panic, I'm just gonna take a look to see what is available. My character is an opportunist, I'm sorry. Hey, everybody panic over there!
Okay, yeah, you find that there's a number of crates On that platform, you also see that there are some bales of some kind of vegetation that looks a little, very similar to wheat or barley or something like that. Not exactly the same. It looks, there's market differences, but if you had something to compare it to, it would be something like wheat. Then you have crates on the other side of that thing that you're next to. They all appear to be nailed shut, and they all seem to have writing on the sides of them that is in a language that you are unfamiliar with.
Okay. Any chance I can open up one of the crates?
If you want to use your action to do so, you may.
I will. Just grab the top one and pop it open.
Okay, give me a strength challenge roll, please, with 1 bane. No, sorry, 1 boon. 1 boon. That's one thing that I've been applying this to you guys, but I haven't told you why. Anytime you have a strength challenge roll, you get a boon simply because the gravity on this world is lighter than it is in your home world. So any strength challenge rolls, if I happen to forget, is automatically
Always
one
one
boon.
18.
Okay, yeah, you managed to pop the lid open, and you look inside, and it looks like lots of weapons that are in this particular crate. Swords, axes, some hammers, and just maybe a couple dozen from the looks of it.
Okay.
Where is that? You need to
Bottom left in the square.
start throwing those out to the tubbies and say, arm yourself.
As soon as my turn comes around again, arm yourselves, just start flicking them. I might kill 1 or 2 accidentally.
Okay,
You're
well, you can do
dead.
that.
It's okay.
You can do that next round because you used your action to pop open
Yeah.
the lid. Okay, so that was Zatada. And we got Vorvon, Blue, and Baranora. Who's next?
I hopefully hear Zatada go, oh my god, look at all these weapons I found. And I'm going to go over there.
So many weapons.
Look at all of these guys. I can't believe it. And where is he again? Because I can't see him.
Bottom left of the square.
Bottom.
There's like a platform with a bunch of boxes and yeah.
Alright, I'm moving that way.
Okay, so that's your move. What's your action going to be?
10, 11, 12. Alright, move there, and then I'm going to cast this. No, cast this.
Nice.
So I'm going to cast. Yeah, so I'll take D3 damage.
That is a rank 1 spell? Damn.
It is when you go through all the process. Hold on. I've got to do a few rolls here.
Set those up so that when you hit the button, the rolls automatically happen inside the text,
Ouch.
which would save you some time down the road.
Oh, really? Where is that?
Yeah. Basically, if you put double hard brackets on either side of them, it turns it into an inline roll, so it would just give you the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
All right.
anyway,
Well, that's how much health I lost, and that's how much instead.
Okay. All right, very nice. And that was Vorvon. Blue and Baranora, who's next?
you want to go first, Barnor?
Does it really take 1 minute to put on armor?
Yes.
Start strapping it on yourself.
Because if I'm role playing this correctly, Baranora would have been off in the corner changing when this took place, so she wouldn't have her armor on.
You have half of your armor on.
There you go. You got half of it off.
Yeah, you're missing the top or the bottom. What your choice?
Sometimes you just gotta go balls out, or not.
Well,
No, she has a regular. She would have a regular clothes on, but she doesn't have the armor on yet.
okay. All right, so we now know that Baranora doesn't go commando under her armor. Good
Nope.
to know.
Ruined the surprise.
I guess she's gonna charge at the guy, pick up her weapons and charge without armor on.
Okay.
Are you going to charge the dwarf or the charmed harvester?
The dwarf.
All right.
Okay, the dwarf is a hood, and you see
Yeah.
that immediately when you approach it, as you see the big fishbowl on its head, or on its shoulders, with the weird eel swimming around inside.
Oh, almost.
Is he gonna give me any banes or anything, or am I rolling with my normal boon?
Just normal roll.
Alright, got my boon. An 11.
And 11 on the hood is unfortunately not good enough to hit it.
Alright. That is it.
You fall a bit short. Probably the alien that's right behind you tripped you as you were trying to hit him. All right, so that was Baranora, and now that leaves Blue.
All right, Blue moves up and then charges, because I only have a move of 8, because I'm wearing this heavy armor that I'm not strong enough for. But as I get closer, I'm going to do this, which is strike the soul. Going to make a venomous bite attack at that poor little harvester. Not the harvester, at the hood. And 28 defense.
Yeah, I'd say that hits.
Total of 9 damage.
Okay.
And if it is a living creature, it needs to make a strength challenge roll or become poisoned.
All right. It also gets the advantage of a boon to its strength.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what happens. Come on. There we go.
All right, so you
Right.
ignore the poison. That was from the bite. The secondary effect on the actual spell that let me attack, if the target is living and made of flesh and blood, it has a soul. It gains 1 insanity and becomes impaired for 1 round.
Okay, it does become impaired. However, it is immune to insanity. Oh, wait, no, it's not. That would be the harvester.
All right.
Yeah, no.
And I
the
mean, it's
hood,
not like I'm going to make it go crazy or anything, but
yeah, the hood gets a little. The eels inside of its dome their eyes start twitching a bit.
all right. That's what I'm looking for. I'm the debuff attacker here, trying to get these banes on these guys. Slow them down, son.
All right, very good. So that finishes you guys, and now it is the turn of the bad guy. So the hood is going to make his way around, and Baranora, you will get a free attack as it leaves your space, and
That was a
actually
mistake.
comes over here.
And I will do it. There's a 15 hit.
That is what you need.
The guy I have charmed is not hitting you, right?
We have not attacked the guy you charmed. That is correct.
Good.
But he's about to get an action, so we'll see.
All right, Baranora,
Takes
did you
9
do
damage.
your damage?
9.
9? Excellent. You cut a nice gash in it, and you see some weird fluid kind of ooze out and darken its cloak, but it seems to be unhampered by the wound and continues on past Blue. And blue, it doesn't really even pay attention to you as it is seeking a tubby. It holds out a hand, and you see a dart of darkness shoot out and fire across the courtyard there towards a purple tubby. And I believe, let me see what happens here. One creature with a medium range, and a missile of inky darkness leaps from your hand. Target's agility. And takes 2d6 damage. Okay, so the bolt of darkness shoots across the courtyard, hits that purple tubby right there, and you see the darkness just kind of spread across the tubby's back. The tubby's trying to get away. It's trying to run away, but the darkness hits it in the back. It spreads, and the tubby falls flat on the ground and is no longer moving. That is the Hood's turn.
Yeah.
And just to make sure it doesn't have anything else.
Is
No,
it
he's done.
inappropriate that I'm excited about that? Undead fodder.
You're bothered?
No, undead fodder.
Undead.
Undead fodder. No undead fodder yet.
No.
Oh.
You'll have to go over and check and see if the tubby's still got a pulse.
I'll throw a hammer on it. Does he
Nice.
move? No.
Okay, so that was the Hood. Now the Harvester. He pulls out. He's got his wand in his hand. He's got a whip in the other hand. And Baranara, he looks at you with a bit of annoyance and basically says, "Get away from me, little girl," and steps around you and looks at Blue and says, "You'd be a fine specimen for the Master's dungeons." And he will point the shock wand at you and try to gig you with it.
Green Glow, get a handle on your buddy here.
Plan. I thought we were friends.
We used to be friends.
I thought we were real fronds.
So, hey Dan, if the attack has 2 boons already in it when the input value comes up, I don't have to put 2 more boons in there, right?
Correct, and it'll say +2 like near the attribute to tell you that happened. So
Yeah. So you have
see
to-
where the little attack, and then there's a +2 next to attack. That's how you can double check that.
Okay,
The
good.
quick way.
Okay, so it looks like that's a 27 to hit. So he
All
strikes
right.
you. He strikes you with that shock wand, and a pulse of electricity fires through your body. Needs you to make a strength challenge roll with 1 bane, but remember you also get a boon because of the gravity. So it would be a straight up roll, or you are stunned for 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm thinking though. I think.
Remember, you all have 1 fortune every time you gain a level.
Oh, do it.
All right.
Did they fortune
Gotta
stack,
wait.
or we just have one?
You always just have 1.
Just. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we only
All right, I
have one
can-
now? We don't keep it? Okay.
Yeah, they don't build up. All right, so I'm going to give you a strength roll, but first I am going to try and have a moment of clarity so that I can get a boon on that. So I end up having a boon. There we go.
Very good. So you are not stunned, but you do take the 4 points of electrical damage.
All right, yep.
And
Tagging it now.
that is it for the Harvester and the Hood. You also notice from the top of the wagon behind all of you, you notice several of those eyelash creatures or eyeball creatures that were the security guards in the
In the prison.
surgeon's prison. Yeah, you notice those hopping off the top of it and skittering through the town. Let's see, their movement is 12, so 1 1, 2, 3, 4. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They just kind of spread out. Some of them disappear into that around that building that the wagon is next to. And they are now out and about. So that is it for the bad guys. Is there anything that happens at the end of round that we need to care for now?
I already did it.
Okay. In that case, let's start round 2. Let's get your fast or slows up there. All right, we got a few more fast this time. So, Green Glow and Zatada and Blue. All three of you are going fast. So, who would like to start us off?
I think Green Glow is.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
I was highly disappointed.
He's quick.
Did it work? 12 versus Will against the Harvester?
That is against the Harvester.
Yes.
That is not sufficient. You just missed. You just missed it.
Okay.
Does anything happen on a failure?
No.
Okay. Save or suck.
All
Got
right.
it.
I
right.
am going to just use my trigger to step. No, I'm going to save my trigger. I'm going to stay where I'm at and attack the dwarf again.
Okay.
I'm going to attack him with. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to have a moment of clarity. And then I'm going to cast a mighty attack on him. And I'm going to use my chain. 1 extra boon.
All right.
23 defense for 10 damage.
Excellent. All right. You crack his dome. Some fluid starts coming out, and it's you can see the dome emptying. It clearly has staggered the creature, but it's still standing. It looks like it's got one. Looks like it's got one more round of action left in him.
So that's, pay attention to me next time, bitch. Just pay attention.
All right, Blue, you're going to stay put?
Yeah, I'm fast. I can't go anywhere, and I want to save my triggered for other shit.
Gotcha. All right, Zatada, you're next.
I'm going to start dumping these weapons as fast as possible. I'm going to try to get a couple here and maybe a couple over there, keeping a short sword for myself.
Okay.
Or a sword for myself, and just saying defend the town and just start throwing these weapons out.
Okay. You throw the weapons out, but the tubbies are really just kind of running past them. They really have no interest in the weapons. You're not really even sure that they know what they're for.
Okay.
Okay. So
can he throw me one? Can I grab one?
I was
throw
throwing one kind of in your area.
Yeah.
Throwing some in your area.
Yeah, he tosses it to you and lands in your chest.
Doesn't.
Blade first.
Okay, so let's see. That was Zatada, and now it's the Hood's turn. With the fluid gushing out of its dome, it turns and it makes one desperate attack at Blue with its long knife. And 13 to hit, is
No, I've got a big fat shield and heavy armor that is ill-fitting and too heavy for me, but it still stops swords.
Yeah, it is clearly staggered by the loss of fluid. But the harvester next to you steps to there, and with Baranora being the pain that she is, it's going to try to shock her next. So it points the electrified shock wand at Baranora, but Baranora is easily able to step to the side and avoid the pulse of energy that comes out of it. So that was the harvester, and as it misses, it says to both Blue and Baranora, "This is none of your business. You should leave immediately."
You made it my business when you came into the town with such a great alchemist by the name of Barroth. I'm here to protect him and his friends.
Very well.
I just want to stab something.
Very well. And it turns to Blue for its next attack. But that comes next round. And for now, we move on to the eyeball things. And the eyeball things just kind of skitter around. One of them comes up to green glow, and its eyes just kind of weirdly flicking around quickly. Looks at you because it's a monster and it can see you, and it starts flicking its eyelashes up at you.
You got a new friend.
With a tendril, it will flick away at the pixie, but the pixie, that hits the pixie. Dude,
I think the pixie's flying though, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it is.
How high off the ground are you, Pixie? Are you at just ground
sorry.
level, basically?
I didn't have my defense. I
Say
got an
again?
agility of 13. I have an agility of 13. My defense should be 13.
Okay, yeah. That's weird. I don't know why you're... Oh, there it is. Okay.
I just didn't get it like this.
I gotcha. All right, so then the lash crawler misses with its tendril as it flicks away at you, and the other eyeball creature jumps on your buddy Kaka, and it starts to, let's see, what's it do? It does a warping gaze on Kaka.
Not Kaka.
All right, so Kaka was running away, but stopped running, and you can see it basically start to shudder, and it drops her to the, or drops it. You don't know if it's male or female, so I'm just going to call it an it. Kaka falls to the ground, and the eye creature hops off of it. Ho and Kinky Winky stop running and look to their fallen friend, and the eye creature appears to be ready to attack them next. All right, so that is it. You hear some more activity in the building back there, but you're not sure what's going on. I'm going to move all these tubbies a little ways away to show that they're running. Okay, that one was dropped. So I'm going to put a little token on him to show that he's down. This guy's running. This guy's running. These two are running. This guy's running. And this guy's running. All right, that is it for my guys. Are there... yes, there are two slow turns. So Vorvon and Baranora.
Go ahead, Vorvon.
I'll pull the sword out of my chest that he threw in me.
Okay.
I'll walk over here. I will attempt to grab the hood there. Actually, no, he's looking pretty bad, right? He's bleeding or cracked really badly.
Yeah, his tank is almost empty, and the eels inside of it are just flopping around.
His tank is low. All right. Well, I'll pray for myself to stab him in the tank.
Okay.
As hard as I possibly can. Hope
all right.
Right in the dome.
Helps me drive the sword into the tank.
Excellent. That's a solid hit. All right. You actually drive your blade into it and kind of pull up on it. It goes into the tank and takes the tank off the head. The eels come out from underneath and just kind of start flopping on the ground. The force of your blade coming through the body of this creature cracks the dome even more, which splits in half. The fluid kind of spills all over, and the body just falls over to the side.
All right.
You have more food.
Snack.
Actually, I can do more with bodies now.
Yeah. By the way, Vorvon, you had a taste of these guys back in the surgeon's lair. You can stomach them, but they kind of taste like ass to you.
Good thing I have no taste buds. I am dead, buddy.
If you could taste, it would taste like ass.
That if I could, when I remember, that's what it tastes.
Right. Okay. That's it for Vorvon. Baranora, you're next.
I am going to attack the charm guy because he stabbed at me.
Okay.
If you didn't, I was about to.
Ooh, nice. 18 plus 1 plus 2. All right, so 21.
21 to hit is a solid hit.
Is that by more than 5?
Absolutely it is.
You do.
All right, deal an extra 1d6. So that's going to be a lot of d6s. 14 damage, and it's got to make a strength challenge roll or fall prone.
Ouch, 14 damage. That is a serious wound to this creature. It's still alive, so it will make your, what'd you say, strength challenge?
Strength challenge roll.
Okay, and here's what that looks like.
Oh, he passed.
All right, but he is bleeding profusely. It looks like you undid that one magic stitch that's holding most of him together, and it looks like he's starting to come apart at the seams, but he's holding himself together just long enough to do one more thing, unless somebody else hits him. So that was Baranora. Are you going to move, or are you going to stay put?
I'm going to stay put now.
Very good. So that was the end of round 2. And we have an end of round. Anybody have anything going on at the end of the round?
Yeah, I got to roll to see if my spell drops. It does not.
All right, very good. This is round the 3rd. Let's get the turn orders up. Yeah.
Is the platform raised, or is that on the ground?
Which one?
Hold on, let me put it.
The one you're standing next to?
Yeah.
I'm zoomed in here, so I have to kind of scroll around the page, see where you're at. There you are. Yeah, it's raised, but it's not super high. It's maybe 3 feet off the ground.
I just wanted to know if I had line of sight on the eyeball over here. The one in the top left.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're going to do something to it?
I was just checking. I'm going slow.
It's
Not at the moment.
It's winking at you.
Oh, good. Hey, baby. I will as soon as it's my turn.
Okay. Vorvon, you got anything? Oh, wait. Sorry. We're still on fast.
Yep, I'm slow.
Let's see, we've got Green Glow, Blue, and Barn Nora. Who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's Green Glow? No, Green Glow's there.
You're missing the harvester.
I'm missing my dude. All right. Oh, and I'm also missing my eyeball guys. Okay, Harvester's going to go slow this time. Let's see if he makes it that long. And eyeballs. Lash crawlers will go slow as well. Okay, so you guys go first. Blue, Green Glow, Barnor, or Zatada? Who's first?
I will. I'm going to try to finish this dude off.
Do it.
Oh, wait. Zatada's going slow. Sorry.
Let's see. That's what? The 16, 18. Does that hit?
That does.
$13 damage.
All right. You managed to hook into that little stitch that was starting to come undone. And it basically starts unraveling all of the stitched parts that are holding this harvester together. And he tries to run back towards his cage cart. But as he does, the various body parts that are stitched to him fall apart. So he loses a leg, he loses an arm, and by the time he gets here, he basically just falls into a pile of limbs and internal organs.
What did you hit him with?
Sword and an axe.
Oh, just
Very
one
good.
shot?
Well, rapier and an axe.
Nicely done. All right, Blue, you're up. Or
I
Blue
spell
or Green
recovery.
Glow?
Yeah, I'm done. I spell recovery.
Gotcha. All right, Green Glow.
I am going to... So the harvester's gone, so the charm guy's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
He fell apart.
That's
Yeah,
what
there's
I
only eyelashes left, I think.
Only eyeballs are
Yeah.
left.
I'm going to cast on... I believe the dwarf is in between Blue and Orvon.
Well, he's dead.
Yeah, he's on the ground, so he doesn't count anymore.
Oh, he's dead. Well, shit. Who's alive?
The
Eyeball that's attacking you?
Just the eyeball?
And all the creatures on the cart.
No,
Oh,
save them. So we have a cart. Don't
Aren't
kill
they
the
attached
creatures
to
on
the cart, though?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they're also alive.
Well, they are.
And they count as a creature, correct?
Yes.
You didn't say which threats are alive, just what's alive.
The lash
But they're-
crawler is a living creature. It's a monster.
Oh,
it's
that...
also-
Okay, but...
It's also frightening. I forgot. Oh, and the harvester's horrifying. Man, I'm terrible at remembering those.
Mhm.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so... Only the lasher came from the cart. And is the last one, correct? Or were there other ones on the cart as well?
There were other ones on the cart, and they just kind of spread throughout town.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess the lasher on me, I'm going to cast. Well, see what happens. I get one of them back. Yay.
I don't think this has much of an intellect. No, it's quite dumb. So you hit it easily.
Okay, now do I get to decide which direction it goes, or how does that work exactly?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, you do.
Yeah, you picked which way do you want it to go?
Okay. It's going to run right between Blue and Vorvon.
Blue and Vorvon. All right, so...
Going to go right between them and right out the door. Right.
Okay, so it... Well, let's see. It doesn't... yeah, it moves immediately, right? On a success, the target is moved up to its speed. So 1, 2,
right. It moves up
3,
to its
4, 5. What is its speed? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so you got both of you get a free attack.
I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Remember, there's also one of the lashes on the yellow guy down here.
Yeah, that's
All right,
the one I'm going
Vorvon
after.
misses. Blue misses.
Well, it was a good try.
So this thing skitters in between both your, well, not Blue's legs, but in between Vorvon's legs and over Blue's tail. Okay. All right, so that one's running away. And that was Green Glow. So now we're down to the slow turns and the lash crawlers. So this thing that's running away can still act, right? Yeah, it's just running away from you. So it will. It ran its full move, or it ran its speed to there, and then it's going to. It's going to look at this merchant. And it's going to do his warping gaze on it. Okay, and that merchant basically drops to the ground, and the lash creature is going to dig his eye out. But that's next round. And then the other eye creatures, they emerge. Let's see, this one emerges anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's going to run up on. He's going to run up on Vorvon, actually, right here. And
I don't think Vorvon took his slow turn before the creatures did.
That's okay.
You know what? You are absolutely right. Sorry, my bad. Let me back this up. Back it up. Back it up. My bad. Zatada and Vorvon, you guys go first.
All right.
I was gonna go kill that dude.
Are you gonna go after that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go after the other one. I'm gonna try to grab this one.
You're trying to grab him?
Yep.
All right.
I have to hit his agility. I probably do.
It is. It's
What's
versus
agility?
strength or agility, right?
Yeah.
So agility is its best attribute. So even so, that's still you grab it easily.
All right.
You grab it up by its eyelashes.
I'm gonna trigger action to use a blood point to heal myself.
Okay.
I forgot to use my boon, but I won't. Okay, now it's a thought. I can go grab that one.
Gonna swing at it.
Okay.
Let's see if that one goes through correctly. Yeah.
14 is a hit.
Okay, and then with where did I put it? Combat prowess lets me do an extra d6.
Okay, that's great because your initial 6 smushed it, and your extra d6 smushes it even more. So it is now a stain on the ground that is spreading.
Excellent.
All right, well done. And that is it for your slow turns. Now it's my slow turns. And this one's going to run up to here, and it's going to gaze at Zatada. So Zatada, you get a warping gaze. Will attack roll against the agility of one target creature it can see within medium range of it. On a success, the target takes d6 damage and moves 1 yard in a direction of the crawler's choosing. So will attack. Oh, that's terrible. So it got something in its eye, and it fails its warping gaze. So you lucked out on that one. And what other eye creatures do I have left? I got a couple back here. So he's going to come around. This guy kind of bursts through the window and will come up on Blue. And Blue, he's also going to gaze at you. And see what... also gets something in his eye. A little bit of Martian dust or Tartarus dust in his eye, and is unable to affect you. So that is it for the Lash Crawlers, and that's the end of round 3. Any end of round actions happen now, and we will start round 4 next. Somebody have a fan going on in the background or something?
That's Jeremy.
It's usually me.
I see a fan on the ceiling.
I have a quiet
There's a fan there. There's a fan back there, and there's a fan literally right there.
You like your movie?
And my room is still too hot.
And you have a strong fan base.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Boo.
God.
Boo.
Man, that was so awful.
Is your grill opened up all the way?
Actually, yes. Actually, take his fortune away, because that was so bad.
Is the grill open up all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to close down the grill. Not close it, but close it up a little bit on wherever the grill is at the thermostat.
Okay.
So,
All right, if you say so. All right, round 4. Zatada, Vorvon, Green Glow, Blue. All of you go fast,
right.
so go.
I'm going to do this eyeball thing real quick. Moment of clarity. And Feat of Will, which allows me to make a chain attack when I use the trigger number 2. Ooh, 11 defense.
That hits.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh.
5 damage.
Whoop. I have a visitor here.
No.
Okay, the Lash Crawler falls.
All right.
Problem comes along. You mess with it.
All right, next up.
I'm gonna bite my Lash Crawler.
Okay.
He's grabbed, so it's auto. He takes 5 points. Is he alive?
Is that a roll to hit? Oh, you grabbed it already. Okay.
It's grabbed.
It is alive. Yeah, so you can suck it dry if you want.
Well, is it alive after he takes damage of 5?
Oh no, you suck it dry with 5. That's all it's got is 5 points.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
All right. Just checking.
It shrivels up like an empty juice box.
All right.
Think of it like a raisin.
Yeah. Okay, where the heck are you? You're way over here. Okay. All right, who's next?
I will go next. I will take a 5-foot step, 1 yard step.
Yep.
And make another attack.
Okay. Hello.
You got him.
Does that clear by 5?
Absolutely does.
Okay, so I do an extra. I do an extra 1d6
Okay.
for combat prowess,
Sure.
and then I also get Spellguard Strike, and I can cast a spell. So slash roll 1d6. An extra 4 damage, so 6 total. And I'm going to cast.
All right. Before you decide what you're going to cast, the 6 points of damage is enough to kill the creature.
I can't pick another target yet, can I?
I don't know anything about your class or your path.
Well, if it allows you to cast a spell, you
can use a triggered action to cast a spell you've learned. If it doesn't say anything about not being able to pick an additional target.
No, you should be able to. It's basically another attack, so you can target freely.
Yeah.
I'm going to target the one.
Over here.
Yeah, that one then.
Okay.
And my spells did not save properly. I'm going to cast Grave Grasp, which...
Actually, you can't cast it.
Why not?
It's a triggered action, and you use your trigger action to make that step.
Oh, never mind. Okay, then. Never mind.
Oh.
Take it back.
All right. Way to go, Steve. Good catch. All right, that was
Good
the
catch.
Tata.
honest
Would
player.
not thank you.
That was the Tata. Green Glow, you're up. It looks like you are... There are no enemies in your vicinity, but you see this eye creature kind of darting around the corner of this building over here.
As he comes around, he's going to be ended up turning towards me, looking my direction, correct?
Yep.
Then I am going to cast Bewitched. Again. Oh!
No.
Wow! Really?
What'd you roll, a 1? Yep. Oh, no, you rolled a 4.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, that was craptacular.
That really was. I really... Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, so when you cast Bewitched, do you like wiggle your nose to do that?
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Figured. Okay, that was Green Glow. Baranora, you are the last to go on your side. These raptors are kind of snapping at you angrily, but they are tethered to the cage wagon.
And I'm going to attack that one.
All right.
Does an 11 hit?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
They are not the most evasive creatures.
I was expecting him to have a high agility or something.
Yeah, me too. Only when you try to hit their minds.
Yeah, they're pretty dumb. All right, what kind of damage you do?
How dumb are they?
I overkilled it with 14.
Oh, you certainly did. It is smushed flat, and you got goo all over your new shoes. All right, that is it for the eye creatures that you can see. The tubbies have all basically run to the edges of town, hidden in buildings, hidden under carts, and so forth. The other alien creatures, the merchants, the The guys that are not tubbies but aren't human either, they have also kind of moved away from where the action is, but they don't seem to be as apeshit crazy as the tubbies have been acting. So since you are no longer engaged in combat, what would you like to do next?
I'm going to take the corpse of the hood and toss it into the middle of the raptors.
All right, they start ripping away at it, and you see hood parts just kind of flying up in the air.
And I'm just going to stand there staring at them while they eat it so that they know who feeds them now.
All right, very good. And when they finish, the lead raptor just kind of gulps down the last piece and looking at you like, waiting for more.
What's next?
All right. We'll see what else we find when we're done cleaning out the dead. Whatever our vampire doesn't need.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna crouch down next to this Teletubby is dead, right?
Yes.
All right, I crouch next to him and I start praying over his body. And I pray to the Dark One to send me help and to hopefully give me guidance and bring help to me.
Nah.
All right, sounds good.
I have assistance.
Oh, you were hoping for a roll of 20.
Arise. Arise.
Okay, as the tubby rises up from its apparent death, all the other tubbies around you kind of look at you like you're a god, and they start bowing before you. And
that's what they should be doing.
They all start making this weird humming sound as they're bowing in your direction.
What's on Ho's belly when this starts happening?
Yeah, the belly of the tubby corpse.
I don't know. The Ho.
Oh,
The
Ho.
horny one.
Yeah. When they're all on their knees bowing and humming. He's got to be excited.
Ho's attachment on his head just kind of straightens up and starts oozing a little bit.
All right. Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
Quite exciting. And then you see images flash across his belly of the various things he would like to do with his with that body part.
With his horn.
Yeah. Okay.
To which individual, or is it everybody?
I'm going to go over to where I tossed some of the weapons and grab one or two of the hammers.
Okay.
And I'm gonna...
This merchant runs over to you and says, Hey, those are mine. Do you mind? All this is in your head.
I did just save you, so...
Yeah.
He says to you in your head, I was in no danger. Those things have no interest in me. I will thank you to put my property back in its crate.
And I will hand him both of the hammers.
He grabs them with his tentacles.
I'm going to... Can I use the rest of my movement? Or are we out of combat, technically?
You're out of combat.
We're out of combat, but as this guy is confronting you, these two tubbies over here that were bowing, they see what's happening, and they come over and kind of get in between you and the merchant, and they give the merchant this look like, back off, man.
It's okay, guys. It's okay. Handle it.
Now they become violent.
You can see the images that display on their belly show them taking and ripping the tentacles off of this thing and putting them in a pot and boiling it and then eating it as you do with octopus tentacles.
Parts.
Yeah.
And so the merchant kind of backs off like, okay, all right.
I'm gonna then go pick up the stun staff. What is it called? The stun rod.
And wants a hammer, give him a hammer.
Shh.
I guess I'll
stun
keep
wand?
motion.
Shock wand. The shock wand.
Yeah, shock wand. Okay.
I'd like to go grab that.
Okay. It's laying on the ground, so you can pick it up easily.
No one got
Well,
hurt.
this isn't owned.
Is
I'm gonna
anyone
run off
harmed?
to where I let my armor, and I'm gonna start putting my armor on.
I asked
Okay.
anyone if they're harmed and need help.
All right, everybody seems to be fairly good. There are a couple of injured tubbies, just mostly injured themselves trying to run away. But you do find in this building in here a couple of dead tubbies and apparently the victim of one of the eye creatures.
Okay.
And so you can do with them whatever you want with their corpses.
I wish I could.
We can feed them to the raptors, or save them for future raptor food, one or the other.
I would
All right.
I would save them in general because they're nice to us right now. So.
They are, especially me, which I like a lot. So they are now worshippers of the Dark One. So there's going to be a lot of mutation.
Nice.
Hey, Nell, can I get a character sheet so I can put my animated corpse?
Yeah, me.
It only lasts for a minute, doesn't it?
Nope.
Until it dies.
Until it dies.
Yeah, it takes a minute to cast the spell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can have as many, animated guys
Equal to your power. Yeah.
The problem is that I vaporized mine almost immediately.
What did you vaporize?
My skeleton, or my undead.
Yeah, he's got that.
My animated companion.
Oh,
We got
okay.
two necromancers in this group.
I sent it into a glyph and it kind of vaporized. So
Oh, okay. Oh, there's going to be a skeletal army here in a second, then.
Like
I'm about it.
Undead Teletubbies attacking me.
Right.
So me and Zatada, we're close.
Save those for the next time. Either me or Blue go insane, and we need to start swinging at something.
Boy, yeah.
Right.
I don't know what you've got, but I have this.
Battle
Because
madness.
I know battle spells. Anytime I go insane, it's automatically battle madness.
Yeah, it's automatically battle madness.
Because
That's the
I've
one
got
bad
battle
thing.
spells. So
Okay, Vorvon, I
Yeah.
put in your folder. You should have an animated corpse character sheet that you can use, and I've also given you the tubby that says Vorvon. You've got control of him now.
All right. Oh, I can't open the animated corpse.
Wonder
I
if it's
can-
because
I can-
it's in NPC.
I can click. Yeah, it's in the bestiary, and I can click on it. But I can't, open it and hit buttons or anything.
Okay, I'll figure that out.
Okay. no big deal.
All right, what else are you guys going to do?
I'm going to see if the raptors will let me pass and go to the wagon to kind of just take a look at our new wagon.
Okay. Yeah, they will let you pass, and they're kind of looking at you expectantly. They snap a little bit at you just to let you know that they're not, pussies, but they don't connect. And they let you pass.
I show fangs back at them.
Okay, well that definitely has an impact as they kind of back off a little bit, and then they start snapping at each other like they do.
right.
You look at the cage, and the cage has, it's a fairly good sized cage. It has iron bars. The whole thing is made of metal. It's a very nicely constructed cage. Very solid. It's got a door that locks, and then it's got the seats in the front where the driver and a passenger can ride.
All right. All right. I kind of nod to everybody and point, and as if yes, this will work perfect for our needs, and then I'm just kind of hanging out waiting. As my companions come around, though, I kind of on the down low hand each one of them a healing potion so that they all have one to add from my earlier dealings.
I have to sadly decline.
No problem. I will happily keep a spare.
You can also keep mine.
This is awesome. All right, so instead I give 2 to Baranora, and I'll give 2 to Mark when he's back, and I'll keep the other 2. Green Glow, you don't want to carry a potion, do you? It's bigger than you are, I think.
Yeah, that's awful.
That would be an issue.
All right.
We have to find some thimble-sized potions.
Was this Teletubby dead or no? That was the one that had the eye on it. The Lash Crawler.
Yeah, I think there were 2 dead out here, and there was a couple dead inside the building.
Well, I'm going to take one of the dead ones and give myself a pack mule, really.
There you
That's
go.
the goal.
Okay.
Marking it off.
So how many people here are immune or have some immunity to poison? Both of our undeads?
Oh, yeah.
This one.
I have immunity to disease and poison as well.
All right. So my potion of poison is going to stay, or of antitoxin is going to stay with me then. Screw you guys.
Sweet. All right. So your Tubby companions meet up with you again, and they kind of are wary of the raptors, but they seem anxious to leave, and they want to go ahead and continue your journey on towards your final destination, mostly so that they can go back home. They seem to be quite rattled by this attack, and they are concerned, based on the images that are coming across their stomach, they're concerned of more harvesters potentially showing up.
All right. Yes, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, before we leave, I'm going to go try to find a pair of scissors and some needle and thread.
Okay, give me a perception challenge roll with a couple of boons, or banes, a couple banes.
2 banes.
2 banes.
All right. 17 plus 1 minus 5.
All right, no problem. You kind of go over to the vicinity where the person was selling you the clothes, and sure enough, you guessed correctly. They do have some needle and thread and scissors in a compartment in their cart.
Is he chilling there, or is it empty?
The whole cart kind of spilled over in the confusion, and this person is nowhere to be seen. The alien thing kind of ran off, and so it's free for the taking.
I'm going to take it.
All right. You have that in your possession now.
And anything else I see that would be handy for tailoring.
Okay, you can probably snatch up some more clothing if you want.
So does the hood have a decent hooded cloak?
It's got a rip in it where it was stabbed, but otherwise, yes.
All right, I toss that to Vorvon.
All right.
And say between you and Baranora, do you think you two can handle riding, or steering this wagon?
Yeah.
I can't sit in the front seat. It's just not designed for me.
I also tell Vorvon, if you give me the hood, I can stitch it up.
Okay, well, that's good.
I am a tailor, so I told tailor stuff.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I'm going to get into the back, and
one of us what do you call it? A navigator? Didn't someone have a navigator?
I don't know that was
NPC.
No, I thought it was maybe one of our professions. Someone had it.
not mine.
Okay,
no.
I thought maybe you might have had it.
Somebody talked about taking it, but never did.
Oh, okay. Because I got the map, and I'll show everybody the map of the area, or whatever the star map shows.
Have you opened it, or is it just the case? I mean, do you know what's inside it yet?
I think so. Because I remember seeing the stars and the moons on it.
All right.
So
he knows what's on the outside.
I do. So now we can open it up and look at it if it helps.
That guy just seemed really, really happy to trade that to you, and I was worried.
I don't know. We'll find out.
All right.
All right. So I
as
guess
soon
we're
as
going to
you're
start
ready,
heading.
the Tubbies are ready to go, so they hop into the wagon and they just kind of waiting for you guys to finish what you're doing.
All right. Yeah, I jump up into the back.
Okay.
I climb up and I start stitching the hood.
Also, I am
I
somewhere on the
have
back.
my zombie companion, animated companion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your friend Tubbies kind of steer clear of it. Clearly, they are uncomfortable with an undead Tubby being in the same cart with them, but they kind of stay to the back while away from you and the dead Tubby.
He shall be also named Stinky,
Well, why not?
as is all of my animated companions. They're all named Stinky.
All right, cool. So when you guys are ready, you take off, and the Tubbies point you in the direction to go. It will take you the remainder of this day and a good portion of the following day, according to the Tubbies' visual guide on their bellies, before you get to your final destination. So after a few hours travel, you're going to have to either stop and make camp, or you can continue through the night, but it'll be difficult to see if you don't have the proper type of vision. Whoever's driving is obviously not going to get the benefit of any kind of rest.
I think we can rest, don't you guys?
If it's going to be that long of a trip, I'll rest while they're doing their thing, and then I'll switch off, and I can guide the person, whoever is driving.
Okay.
I can see, I just can't tell them, but I definitely want rest first.
Right.
I believe Borbon has dark vision, and then I have dark vision, so we'd be able to take turns at night and be able to see fine.
Well, I don't need to sleep at all. So I thought, Zatada, do you have to sleep? So me and Zatada can stay on
Not
the
as far as I know.
Cool.
So rest well, knowing that two undead people are looking over you.
All right. So you travel through the night then, and it's a bumpy way. You're having to go up hills and down hills, and the raptors are not the easiest animals to control. But tossing them a hunk of meat, you figure out after a little while, gains their cooperation pretty quickly. And so they, after a few hours, they start behaving for the most part, and you are able to get them going pretty quickly. The following day, the sun rises, and the sky is mostly clear initially, and when the sun rises, again, you can see the flares just going bizarrely, flaring off it, just like crazy. And again, the sun is just not nearly as bright as it should be. In this day, it seems like when nighttime came, it dipped down into the 50s and it got fairly cold. And today, when the sun rises, it does not get much warmer. It seems to be getting colder as the days progress, even though the sun continues to rise. And of course, you don't know what seasons are like here, so it could be a natural occurrence, but somehow you have a feeling that a change in temperature has something to do with the diminishing brightness of the sun and the odd flares that are shooting off of it. Okay, so after a day or so, you emerge from the hills and you start getting into some rocky terrain. And you start approaching the two large mountains that you saw off in the distance. And as you come up on them, they're actually ginormous rock formations that are the size of a mountain. They don't appear to be just a, you know how a mountain just kind of naturally forms out of the earth. This looks like giant boulders were just shoved into the ground, and they just happen to be mountain-sized. And there are several in the area, and then the area is also littered with much smaller boulders, making it a bit challenging to navigate the cart through. The actual terrain itself that the cart is rolling over goes from being mostly dirt and sand to more of a rocky terrain. And it continues like that for most of the day. As you start approaching the end of the day, you start emerging from the rocky terrain, and it starts getting into a more earthy terrain. And off in the distance, you see a large, not a large hill, but you see a hill that the Tubbies are pointing towards. And as you get closer, you can see that the hill itself is not a hill, but is actually a dome shape that is jutting out of the ground. And you can see that there is this big trench behind it that probably goes for maybe half a mile behind it. So it looks like something came out of the sky and basically crash landed here and is half buried in the earth. The Tubby point at it.
I'm going to grab the key and hold it up to my chin so I can try and get a little extra power and try and beep beep, see if the key fob will start it up from here.
Okay, you hold it up to the chin. Nothing happens immediately.
Darn it.
So the Tubbies point at the thing and point at their bellies, and they show you that it is the ship that they mentioned earlier back in their home. And so you continue onward, and you can see that there is a large mound of earth that surrounds the ship that was brought up as it crash landed into the earth. So it is half buried, but you see the dome coming up over it. And one thing, as you get closer to it, it starts to look a little strange, in that you were expecting I guess you were expecting, just kind of from Blue's descriptions, a ship, kind of like a sailing ship or some type of vessel that is used to sail waters. I mean, that's what you're normally familiar with. But what you're seeing is almost like a turtle shell. In fact, that's exactly what it reminds you of. It looks like a giant turtle is buried in the earth ahead of you. And so you continue to get closer and closer, and as you do, I would need for all of you to give me perception challenge rolls.
I pray to the Dark One.
Blue fails, Vorvon fails.
Not this.
13.
Barnora succeeds. Green Glow succeeds. All right, so Barnora, you notice some things kind of moving around on the top of the shell. And as you pointed out, Green Glow talks, right? You can communicate, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can talk normally.
Okay. So, Green Glow, you kind of flit around and say, there are more of those raptor things on top of that shell. 2 of them, in fact. And you also notice on the right side of it, there are 3 more of those raptor things just at ground level.
Lots of raptors. Lots of raptors.
She's scared of raptors, I think.
Are they raptors like on our cart?
Yep.
Ah.
Tartarian raptors.
So we've got another body and a half probably still left. We could chuck that at it. We could send a zombie their way, get them distracted, make a beeline for the turtle shell ship, assuming we could find a door.
Okay.
Or we could just release our raptors on their raptors and have some raptor on raptor action.
Of course, they might join them and just become one big bat.
What do
We're
you guys
free.
think?
We're free. We're free. Oh, we're with our friends again.
Okay,
I
let me
don't
show
want to
you.
free
Let me
them.
give you a
That's for
visual
sure.
here. You guys are at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, good Lord, it is a giant sea turtle.
That's awesome.
We need our Teletubby buddies.
And our zombies.
And the little flying guy.
Yeah. I'll port them over.
We have like 50 people in our party at the moment.
And the vampire, because I don't know who that green guy is.
Well, with our power going up, it'll only get bigger.
Yeah, the green guy is Mark. I'll get rid of him.
I don't see me. Where am I? I'm missing.
Oh, he didn't tell you? You burned up when the sun came up.
No, that's why I look like a leper. But we covered this.
All right, there's a
I've
void
got
one.
a better cloak now.
There's a green glow.
Yeah, but
When you
That's
said
the only ones I can do.
when you said Teletubby buddies, did you mean the alive ones or the dead ones?
no, I was
Yeah.
meaning the devil.
Yes.
Those are the most useful to me.
Gonna have to start clarifying because
Yeah, that's true.
I will sack my guy immediately into them to get them all together. There's a plan here, a dangerous plan that has been used before.
Oh, really?
How many Teletubby zombies do we have? Or dead guys?
Two. We have two.
Dose.
2 zombies, 4 regular,
I'm sure the regulars won't. They'll probably.
3 hirelings.
Well, the 4 are just here to help us find this place, right?
Yeah, the 4 are non-combatants.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I was
they're
going to say the Teletubbies are useless anyways.
All right, Zatanna, I'm
Telezombies
giving
on the
you
other
a purple
the
or
Telezombie.
a red one.
Okay.
And let me give you control of them here.
Sweet.
All right, you have control of them now. Okay, so your raptors on your cart obviously catch the sight of the wild raptors, and they just start going crazy in their harnesses. They clearly want to mix it up with these creatures, and they're just snapping at each other. They're snapping at their chains. They really just want to get loose and go attack these things. The things haven't noticed you yet, so they are not reciprocating the interest. So,
What do you guys think? Let them go have some fun? We'll never get them back again.
I
Because we don't need to go anywhere else.
hold on. I'd like to keep the raptors as a secondary option.
Why don't we use them as our defense?
There's a
and then
plan.
shoot them at a distance.
I'm going to send my Teletubby in to gather aggro, tank it, and then I'm going to AoE him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plan. It's not a good plan, but a plan.
you don't like to keep your zombies very long, do you?
Dude, I can recycle. I can get a... Guess what? The moment I'm done with the Teletubby, I can get a raptor.
You know, they're going to unionize against you one of these days. You know that, right?
And you know what I do then? I stop concentrating on them, and then they die. Move on to the next one.
Uh-huh. All right.
Give it
Hey, don't get too attached to this undeath stuff.
Animated corpse rights. Animated corpse rights. Okay, so...
I want to hear their union pitch.
Blue. Your key starts to light up a little bit. It's got engravings on it, and the engravings start kind of flaring up a little bit, and you feel a pull that is taking you to the left side of the ship. You feel a pull towards that side of the ship.
All right, so I look to Zatada and I point to this rock here. I say, try and fight there. Because our door is, and I point to the left where you were just highlighting. And we're going to go left, so send your zombie and your spell to the right. Give us as much time as we can to get inside this thing.
Okay.
And I look over at the Teletubbies and say, when we're gone, you guys hightail it out of here.
And they look at you and they're like,
Take the cart with you.
yeah, take the cart, man. It's all you, buddy.
If we're going to try to go with the sneaking in, probably should not do that. Because I was going to say release the raptors as like a secondary defense.
No, let's not release the raptors. Let's just do all the way up and to the right. There's a rocky outcropping. About halfway up the map, if you can get your zombie there and then cast your spell somewhere in that area, then we can all bust butt over here to wherever the key takes us and try and get inside. Then the raptors can't bother us.
So we're not going to bring our raptors and
No.
Dude, we got a turtle shell spaceship, man. What do we need a cart and a raptor for? This thing's probably got a las cannon on it somewhere. I don't even know what that is, but I think it has one.
But it's
Recyclability.
What's it called? The fuel that Firefly had?
Oh, the Firefly's fuel. I can't remember what it was called.
I thought it was
Either.
called.
It's been a long time, but I know what you're talking about.
No, it had a little cargo craft, ferry ship.
The mule.
And
It's called the mule.
But then we got to take the 4 Teletubbies with us.
Well, there might be one on the ship. Well, there might be one.
We can just fly them back to town. Deliver raptor meat and be like, hey guys, thanks for bringing us here.
All right, so we're going to try and send the zombie and the spell off to the right. Then we're going to drive the wagon to the door and try and run it into the ship if it'll fit. All right, I'm on board.
wait, does he know if it's not? I mean, it's your ship, right?
Well, it's my key.
Oh.
I've never been inside it before. The lady who was in my cell with me gave it to me when she was dying.
Oh, okay.
Did I not make that clear earlier? I apologize.
Oh, I haven't paid attention.
My brain is stuck on Firefly, so I'm thinking of the barn swallow. So have it be going one way and you just scoop them up with the ship. I'm stuck on Firefly now. Thanks, guys.
okay, so the plan is send the animated corpse off to the right, distract the raptors while you guys take the cart over to the left and try to find the opening
we're
that
gonna follow.
Blue senses.
Yep, that's what we're going to do.
Okay. So
There's no way it could go wrong.
That's
no,
a
absolutely
plan.
not. Okay, so the animated corpse of the red Teletubby starts lumbering off in that direction. These raptors start barking because they want to eat it. That draws the attention of these raptors, and they start barking, and these raptors start running off on this towards you. Initially, as a reaction to the barking of the raptors on your cart, but then they notice the walking, lumbering corpse, snack, and their attention is immediately diverted to it, and they start running towards it. So as all this is happening, you guys are moving?
Yes. With the wagon, and we are moving in this direction until you tell me the key is pointing somewhere else.
Okay. So you head off over here, and the key is leading you, it seems, to the side of the ship. So you continue going until you feel the pull is at its strongest, which is kind of at the midpoint of the shell. right around here. And when you look over here, you notice on top of the wing, there is, you can't see it from the top-down view, but there is space between the wing and this ridge on the green ridge on the shell. And
Right.
within that space, there is a circular portal. It looks like it's got like a twisted door.
Mhm.
And the key seems to be drawing you towards that.
Does the door look big enough for said wagon to go through?
It does not. It looks big enough for maybe a Jotun might be able to fit in it, but a wagon is definitely
Okay.
too big.
All right, so I just look and say, Teletubbies, keep on going. And I jump off and start moving as fast as I can up the ridge to jam this key in the hole.
Raptors!
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you jump up on the wing, and it's actually fairly easy because the wing is half buried anyway. So you're basically climbing up this hill of dirt to get up to the portal. And as you do, I need for everybody to give me perception challenge rolls, please.
I see everything.
Ooh, you do.
I will pray for sight.
Beyond sight.
Yep, that too.
Okay. Actually, that's sufficient. I think Blue and Vorvon have you guys covered. So what you notice immediately as you're climbing the dirt hill to get to the door is the first thing you notice is this red light starts shining underneath this pile of dirt back here. And then you notice these things kind of emerging from the dirt, the surrounding dirt, and you see this big, bulbous, dark object start rising up out of the dirt. And then you see another one doing the same nearby, and then you see yet a third doing the same, yet even closer to you. And when they finally emerge completely, you see that these creatures appear to be constructs of some sort, and they have multiple tentacles that are flailing about. At the end of the tentacles are these pincer-type protrusions, and they have a central red eye that shines brightly in the twilight that you are currently in. And these creatures react to your presence very violently and begin to show aggression towards you, which will result in a combat starting as soon as I get these creatures on the board. So these are creatures known as Reen. And three of them rise up, and they look pissed.
Direct them towards the Teletubbies.
Yeah, there's 5 raptors and 4 Teletubbies right there in a to-go box.
Okay, so let's see here. What do these things do? That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Awesome. All right. So looks like we got a Vorvon going fast. We have a Vorvon corpse going fast. Can anime corpses go fast?
That's a good question. They might be right.
And we have a blue
Yeah.
going fast.
I think that's only zombies. Like animated corpses can go fast.
Yeah, don't
In either case, I'm going to jam this. I'm going to whip this key out and find some hole to stick it in this door to make it open.
Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. I think we have everybody ready to rock, so let's get this party started. So, Blue, you're going fast, so let's just do that first. You climb up the dirt hill and you get up to the door, and as you do, the runes on the key flare up very brightly, and the portal opens up immediately, and a gush of liquid and solids just rush out of this portal and flow over you. I need an agility challenge roll from you with two banes, excuse me.
The 3.
Okay, you are caught up in this gush of fluids that are emerging from this vessel, and you are carried down the hill a d6 yards. So let's see where that deposits you. 5 yards down the hill.
I'm gonna use a fortune to make me succeed on that roll.
Okay, that's a good choice, because that would put you right in between two of the green.
It was already crossing my mind before you rolled, so.
Okay, so you succeed at that, and you sidestep the big gush, and you also notice as you do that the smell of the gush reeks of offal and urine and
so did this key take me to
oil.
So the key took us to the shitter release?
I guess so.
All right.
Apparently.
Well, if the door is still open and it has poured itself out, I'm going to basically wave and say, I've got the door open, and yell at the guys and be ready to go in on my next turn.
All right, sounds good. And that was Blue, Vorvon, or Vorvon Corpse.
Yeah, I'm moving. I'll go through that door.
Okay.
And it will charge. That's the Bane. Got a +1. No, 0. So I hit a 17.
Let's see. The Reen is covered in a hard metal shell. 17 does not penetrate it.
All right.
Okay, I thought I saw. Okay, now it's an 18. What was your roll there, John?
It's a 18 -1 because it's a Bane because it charged.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah.
rolled a 1, so I hit a 17.
Yeah, you just barely missed it.
All right.
If you wouldn't have had that Bane, you would have hit it.
Okay.
Okay, so that was Vorvon. And Vorvon's creature moves up. Is it going to attack? Oh, it can't. It moved. Sorry. So that was them. And now it's Zatada, Baranora, or Green Glow. Why is Baranora up there twice? Oh, you. Yeah, why are you up there twice?
I'm not up there twice.
No, I've only got him once.
That's weird. I see you twice in there. Oh, well. Regardless, you going slow, so what are you going to do?
That was not what I meant to do.
I'm going to bolt through the door.
The newly opened door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see Baranara move, and are you going to take an action, or are you just moving?
Just moving.
Okay. Zatada, you going to take
I was going
action?
to run at the creature, but I was told to run into the door, so I ran out the door.
All right.
I'm going to move. And that's
Green
it.
Glow, what are you going to do?
I'm going to move. Obviously.
Don't leave the slow guy behind.
Actually, I could barely get in, but I don't think I'd block anybody.
Now with your size of everything.
And then I am going to cast Bewitched on the front, or
Green.
one of those monstrosities.
Green.
Yeah, the Reen.
Greens. Yep.
Hopefully they're not too smart.
We'll see how smart they are.
It's not that they're not smart. It's that they are immune to just about everything. So let me see what they are affected by. So immune to that, immune to that, immune to that, immune. They're immune to charm. So if you're trying to charm them,
No, it's not a charm.
is it a compulsion? Because they're immune to that.
Oh, it's not considered compulsed.
All right, disease, frightened, and poisoned. Okay, so that looks like that should affect them. So they're make your roll 13. That which one are you hitting?
The one closest to me, I can't point. How do you
That one?
point? Not that. The other one. The one within 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that one.
That one? Okay.
Okay.
All right. What direction are you going
And-
to have it move?
I'm going to have it run straight to the raptors.
Okay. And it does so.
And maybe like the side of the raptors, just because. But
Yeah, get in deep, baby.
it deep into the raptor.
like right in the middle of them.
Yeah, right in the middle of
Woohoo!
He's just
There you go. Right into the threat range of every one of them.
All right. It jumps right in the middle of them, and the raptors start snapping at it, and its tentacles start flailing on them, and there's blood and bits of tentacles just kind of going everywhere, and just a big cloud of gore starts to form in that general direction. So that's a very good move, Green Glow. And Zatada, what'd you end up doing? You moved, and you cast a spell, right?
Yeah, I ended up moving. No, I have not cast a spell. I was going to hold it, but then I realized I don't want them coming anywhere close, so.
Okay, so what are you going to do for your action?
Can I move more? Can I get you a double move, or do I just get another 5-foot step?
You can take a 5-foot step as an action or a triggered action. If you want to do a rush as an action, then you can move twice your speed as your action.
Nah, and I can actually get inside. I would like to do that.
Okay.
So I'm inside the ship.
Okay. And Baranora's already in there, so you already took your move, and you didn't take an action. Gringo took an action. Zatada's done. So it looks like it is the Reen's turn. And incidentally, you guys find that the interior of that portal is only 15 feet deep and 5 feet wide. So you guys are kind of cramming yourself into this narrow tunnel that leads into the ship, and it kind of goes to a dead end at the end of the 15 feet. And it's dark in there, so if you don't have dark vision, you can't see. But if you do have dark vision, I will tell you what you see here in a moment. But first, it's the Reen's turn. And the Reen will... The one that is attacking the raptors, I'm not even going to bother with it. They will keep each other busy for a while. The Reen that is being molested by Vorvan's animated corpse, it will ignore, actually, and it will move up here. So Vorvan, you can have it take a free attack.
All right.
And then this Reen will move up here as well.
Yeah, it missed him.
Sadly, that's not enough to penetrate its hard metal shell. So your tubby breaks its hand on its armor. All right, the two Reen move up to the portal, and Vorvan and Blue are the only two that are within reach. So the first Reen is going to attack with its tentacles, and this would be at Blue. 24 to hit, 4 damage if that connects, and I think it does.
It does.
And then on Vorvan, it does the same. The other one does the same. That one's only a 14 to hit. I don't know what Vorvan's armor or defense is.
Yeah,
12?
I'm a 12.
Okay, so 6 damage as a metal tentacle smacks you.
Alright.
And you can see the other tentacles rearing up behind it as if it's about to unleash what is referred to in the stat block as a tentacle flurry. So whatever you're going to do next, keep that in mind. All right, so that is the end of round 1. What end of round actions, if any, need to occur before we go into round 2? All right, then we will start round 2 with fast turns. Blue's going fast. Sotdl's going fast. Vorvan's going fast.
Hey, Vorvan, remember you can use a trigger to move 5 feet without triggering an attack of opportunity.
Oh, really?
So you could use a trigger to take a step and then run into the hallway.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have to take the hit because I want to use my trigger to hopefully make the wand close the door.
No, okay.
There was a way you could get rid of yourself on it.
All right, and you also hear the barking of the 2 raptors on top of the shell, who have noticed you guys, finally, and they start moving in your direction as well. They will go slow, though. Okay, so who wants to go first? Blue, Vorvan, Sotdl, or Green Glow?
I will. I'm going to take the one in front. I'm going to fire at the one in front of Blue.
Yeah?
Spectral Grasp. I don't think I have any wounds or veins. Uh, 19 versus agility.
That is a hit.
1 damage, and they get 1 bane on attacks.
Which one did you hit? The one in front of Blue or the one in front of Vorvan?
The one in front of Blue.
All right. 1 damage and 1 bane for 1 round. Got it.
First blood.
I'll have mine attack. Mine from the back. 15's gonna miss him. And I'll take the 5-foot step and then enter the ship.
Okay.
And I can
Alright.
see okay if it's dark, so I'll be alright.
All right, so you are actually right here behind Vorvon. Baranora is right behind you. Zatada is right there with Baranora, basically in the same space. And Green Glow, you're inside the portal too?
I got as far as I could go.
Okay, so you're inside the portal too. Basically the three of you are kind of standing at the very end, and you're scrunched together. And whoever can see, you notice that there's a circular platform below you, and there's a circular formation on the ceiling of this corridor, and it also has that kind of twisted portal kind of door that the exterior door had. So it looks like there's a door right above you. You're just not exactly sure how to make it open.
All right, well, we're about to find out, because I'm going to use a triggered action to push myself into this corridor, and I'm going to like poke the wand at the door that we're coming in and then swing it back at the other one as my action.
Okay.
Trying to make the thing work.
Okay, so you go inside, and you're kind of visualizing what it is that you want to have happen. Mm-hmm. And as you visualize these things in your head, it seems like the key is reacting to that. And so the first thing that happens is the more immediate threat, which is the Reen. So the portal begins to close. It kind of twists, and the metal doors begin to close together. And then you think about the portal above opening, and as you do that, the circular platform that the other three are standing on begins moving upwards, and the portal above them starts opening up as simultaneously as they start moving upwards.
All right.
Okay, so that was blue. Who else is going?
So the portal's closing.
Yep.
So they can't get in now, but it's not completely.
It's not completely closed, so they will get one last attack before it shuts.
Oh, they will get a last attack against us?
Yeah, it's closing fairly slowly, so their tentacles are flailing, and they're going to try to squeeze a few through.
Okay, well, I'm going to cast the spell that should not be cast again. Might as well. It's the only thing I can do, really. Yeah. Other than shit damage. So I will bewitch one of the guys. I wish I could find something on it that talks about it, but...
Yeah, it's one of those words that compulsion's a word that it's not a term in the game, it's the actual...
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yes, compelled is an affliction.
It's an affliction.
Compelled, but is compulsion.
Oh, compulsion.
You see what I mean? It just depends on how the words are written on the Reen, and I'm not... Like I said, we don't need to go through it all tonight. Just run with it, and we'll check it.
The way the spell reads anyway, you could do it, because all you're doing is move target up to its speed, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be another effect that's making it move. We don't know.
Yeah, well, the target is moved, which means that you moving it.
Right. Or something else is moving. I don't know.
Where are you moving?
Yeah, it just says it's immune to being compelled. So.
Because if you're bewitching him, maybe he's moving.
What does it say immunity-wise? Compulsion or compelled?
Compelled.
Compelled. But the spell itself does not have the word compelled in it.
No, the discussion's been had somewhere, and I think it was on G+ about enchantment spells and creatures with immunity to that. I just have to go find it. And like I said, it's not going to make or break the game tonight, I don't think so.
I don't think.
Well,
where do you want to move it?
The main thing is into the Raptors.
Raptor love.
Trust me, I want it to work. I just, it's just one of those.
No, I understand. But my big thing is, though, if it's immune to compelled,
yeah,
A
So compelled's a condition, yeah.
is a condition, which
Yeah,
I can
I'm
understand being immune to that.
Because that's
Yeah.
usually what we're immune to is certain conditions. Right.
Yep, I agree.
We're not immune to forcing us to move something. There's no immunity to that.
Like we have immune to disease, and I thought some characters had immune to enchantment.
Yeah.
That's one of their things.
I don't know.
I think the only thing that's fucking with us here is the fact that this is an enchantment spell. So it's natural to think that the enchantment is compelling it to do something, even though the word compelled isn't in the spell description. If this were a telekinesis spell or some other spell, this wouldn't even be an argument.
I'm with you.
No, that's the case. But anyways.
No big deal.
Okay, so you got rid of one of the Reens, but the other one is still there. Who hasn't gone yet?
I'm going on a slow, and the Reen's going before me. So.
Yeah,
I'm definitely.
Orvon and Zatata are the only ones left in fast.
Cast.
Oh, I already moved
Cast
into the
Spectral
show.
Grasp.
Yeah,
First thing.
I moved into the show.
Oh, that's right. So Zatata went. Vorvon is doing what again?
Orvon moved into the ship. Yeah, we've all gone. It's up to the Reen on fast.
All right, so the last Reen that is next to you guys is going to do a tentacle flurry. So this might
Bring
hurt.
it on.
The Reen flails at everything in a 3-yard long cone originating from a point it can reach. Each creature in the area must make an agility challenge roll with 1 bane. On a failure, the creature takes 3d6 damage. Now, I'm going to say that since the doors are closing, that eliminates the bane, so go ahead and make your agility challenge roll just straight up, plus any boons that you may have on your own. And if you succeed, then the tentacles miss you, but if you fail, you're going to be enjoying 3d6 damage.
Who's it hitting? Everybody?
Everybody in that little hallway there, because it can reach 3 yards.
No.
1, 2, actually, everybody back. Yeah, everybody. See, that's 5, 2. No, Green Glow is.
I think Green Glow is in the same spot. He just moved so he could get to his miniature.
Yeah, Green Glow, Baranora, Zart, and Zatata are all in the same spot.
I did
They're
a
all in
5
the
foot.
same space.
I did a 5-foot step.
I don't think there's room. I think it dead ends.
Yeah, it dead ends.
Oh, it dead ends.
Yeah. If you're going to make a 5-foot step, it would have to be towards the opening.
Okay.
There is no escape.
All right, so let's see. Zatata succeeded. Vorvon succeeded. Blue succeeded. Green Glow succeeded. Who's left? 1, 2, 3, 4. Baranora.
23.
All
I put
right.
it in there.
Excellent. So the doors shut faster than I anticipated, or the Reen anticipated. So the tentacles are reaching in there trying to get to you, but they can't quite reach you, and the doors catch the tentacles, and they continue shutting, and it actually cuts a couple of the tentacles off. They fall in the corridor that you guys are in, and the tentacles are basically flailing around on the floor.
I grab one.
I leave it alone.
Okay.
How long is the tentacle that's inside on the floor?
It's about 3 feet long.
All right, so looking at it down there and looking at my stump on an arm at my elbow, is the diameter to where I think at some point we might be able to jam it up on there and break it on, and I might be able to have a Reen tentacle arm at some point?
That sounds awesome. Yes, that has to come to pass.
All right, so we're definitely keeping some of this until we can figure out how to make that shit work.
Okay, so the
A
rest of
bone
you are.
saw, a little bit of duct tape. We got it.
All right, so the rest of you are on a platform that is rising up towards an opening, and you kind of disappear into the ceiling, and as soon as you step off of it, if you step off of it, the platform starts to descend again, but if you don't step off of it, it just stays up there. You guys rise up into a room, a dark room, The air is very stale in here, and it's very dark, and it's just very stuffy.
So well, when they go up there and we close the door, I can't see in the dark, and I'm thinking, I wish I had something. I wish I could see better in here. I wish the lights were on.
Nah, there you
go. As soon as you think that, there is a couple of sections on the wall that start to glow softly, but they flicker, and it seems like they want to come on, but they're not.
Maybe not juiced up or something.
It seems like they're not. They don't have enough power to stay on consistently.
The magic has faded that made them work.
Yeah, it's basically flickering like a bad fluorescent light. All right, so you guys step into the room to allow the platform to descend, or are you just going to stand on it and let the others stay in the shitter?
I'll fly up.
Yeah, if they stay on it, I'm just going to think I wish the elevator would come back, or wish the platform would come back down again, and I'll bring
it. We'll step off, as it were.
All right, the platform does start to descend, so those of you that are standing on it can either step off or go back down.
I will step off, as it were.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the platform descends, and it is back to your level, Blue.
All right.
I'm going to scream really loudly like I'm in pain.
Yeah. We know that's been.
Nice.
So it descends, there's no one on it, and then you hear screams of pain.
Yeah. I'll be there in a minute. Vorvon, do you want to go on this with me while we head up?
Yeah.
All right, so then we'll go and head up, and I'll have my chain at the ready to attack whatever made our friend scream.
All right, very good.
My character's just standing there holding his foot. He stubbed his toe getting off it.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
no
so
healing for you.
Those of you that stepped off initially, the first thing you step onto is a corpse that is laying on the ground.
Animate.
Stop it.
Okay. Give me 10 seconds before you animate it. So the corpse looks like it's been laying there for a while, at least a couple months. So it's not in very good shape. And the room kind of smells a little bit, even besides the stuffiness. It just it smells like corpse. So when you light the room up, if you light the room up, then you see that it is a human that is laying face down and appears to have been the victim of some sort of attack that resulted in multiple stab wounds. There's dried blood all over the deck beneath it. The rest of you, when you come up, you see the same thing. And the chamber that you in is not very large. It looks like it's about 15 feet deep and 15 yards deep, I should say. No, sorry, 3 yards deep. I'm thinking D&D squares is what's in my head. It's 3 yards deep, and it's 3 yards or 4 yards down. So it's a 3x4 room roughly. It's kind of got an off shape towards the back of the room, but I'll show you that when I reveal the map. There's something hanging from the wall, and when you shine your light over there, it startles you for a moment because for a moment you think you see 3 of those rain creatures up on the wall, but then when you get a closer look, it's actually 3 odd-looking suits that have big helmets, and they're kind of bulky suits, and they're just hanging on the wall. There is a corridor that leads off to off one side of the room, a couple of corridors that leads off another side of the room, and another corridor leads off to the top of the room. But the whole place is dark and blue when you get up there, and I assume you think lights would be good again.
Yep.
Yeah, you get the same thing. You get some lights trying to come on. A few of them do, a few of them don't. Some of them flickering, as if the whole place is trying to respond to your mental command, but just doesn't have the power it needs to complete that command. So at this point, you have entered an ether ship, and you are in the entry chamber. I'm not going to reveal it just quite yet. We'll save that for next week. But the first thing that you notice when you come in here, Blue, is that you sense that the ship itself is actually a living creature. You are inside an ether beast. Ether beast is just a generic term for any creature that actually lives in the ether. And ether beasts tend to be rather large, whale-like or even larger creatures that just fly around in the ether. But you know immediately just by holding the key that this is an ether beast that has been modified to be a transport.
All right.
But you also notice just by holding the key, you know that the beast is slumbering at this point. So you're going to have to find a way to rouse it.
Oh, Baranor can rouse anything, I'm sure.
Jiggle the balls.
All right. So we're going to tackle rousing it and looking at the details on our next session?
Yeah, that will be the beginning of our next session. So one other thing to keep in mind, you hear the rain outside banging on your door. So
all right.
You have felt a couple of you have been on the receiving end of the rain tentacles, and you know that they are pretty tough. It's only a matter of time that they break through the door and come up into the ship after you. So it's probably in your best interest to figure out how to wake this beast up and get it the fuck out of here.
10-4.
Just imagine the outer shell being electrified.
All right, so guys, thank you for a nice, fun session tonight. And
great.
we will
Thank
pick
you.
this up again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Are we leveling between, or are we good? Are we staying where we're at?
No, absolutely, positively, you are leveling up, and next week will be our first expert level adventure.
All right. Sounds like a winner.
All right, guys. Adios.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a
We'll
lot.
see you guys. Bye.
Later.